I'm so excited. I don't know if you know this about me, but I love Halloween. I love spooky season. Despite being a big fat baby who can't watch horror movies, I love Halloween. I love the spooky season. As a matter of fact, I still have Halloween decorations up. I'll show you this one. That is Skeletoni. He lives here permanently. Anyway, it's day one of Summerween. It's like 2 o'clock. I just had lunch. I've had a really busy morning because once a week, I somehow manage to have one productive day a week where I get a lot of stuff done. It was my one burst of energy, and then it'll be gone for the next 6 days. So because I was getting a bunch of shit done this morning, I actually started 2 audiobooks. Well, I started Her Body and Other Parties last night when I was in bed. I'm gonna be really honest with you. I started early. It wasn't midnight. It was like 9 o'clock. I read this last night because this is 8 stories and the readathon is 7 days, and I wanted to read 1 short story a day. So I got one out of the way early, and then I read another one this morning. It's kind of funny, but also not funny, that the second story was about a pandemic or a disease going around and how people were kind of locking themselves away from each other. But so far, I love this because I love Carmen Maria Machado so much. After I read In the Dream House, I wanted to read everything by her, and so I'm finally getting around to this. Also, did you know this is a neck? That's a neck. And then when I finished the second story, I decided to start The Hollow Places, which is actually way more supernatural than I thought it was. I thought it was just like gonna be a straight up horror. So this book actually fulfills the prompts of horror and supernatural, but I don't remember if you can double up on prompts. It doesn't really matter though, because I'm not gonna do that. I have a huge TBR. So this is the physical TBR that I have. And then I have 2 audiobooks. So you already know I'm reading Her Body and Other Stories, Parties. This is going to work for the horror prompt. And then for the supernatural prompts, I have Mongrels and House of Hollow. I'll probably start House of Hollow first because I have the library book. And then again, for the horror prompts, I have Lakewood, which is body horror. I think it's like a medical / body horror. And that's what I'm gonna use for the horror prompts. And then for the prompt, orange or black on the cover, I'm using these 2 because this has orange and black on the cover, and Winter Counts has black on the cover. I don't really know if this counts, but I'm counting it. I also really want to count this because this is more a detective thriller novel, and everything that I have here leans on the horror side, so I should have added more thrillers. Oh, I forgot. Actually, I'm lying because Dig by A.S. King is an audiobook that I have, and according to the synopsis, it leans on the thriller mystery side, but it's also supernatural, so it's going to fit for the supernatural prompts as well. And then there are 2 other prompts that you don't need a specific book for, but you're doing specific things with a book. So the first one is to bake or make a treat with your spooky read. I always make matchas, so I'm actually thinking about, because I have to go to the grocery store today, so maybe I'll get something to bake. And then the other prompt that doesn't require a specific book, but it's a thing that you do, is to read a book in the dark. So that's my TBR. If you know anything about me and readathons, my readathons always start off strong and then they go downhill really quick. So I'll probably get to 3 of these books, which is fine with me because every single one of these books, except for House of Hollow, has been on my TBR for at least a year. Also, side note, I don't know if anybody else kind of got a little bored of Animal Crossing and then got disappointed that they're not going to do any updates for the game anytime soon, but I did because I'm at a point in Animal Crossing where there's not really much for me to do, and so I found a game thanks to one of my friends on Instagram. I found a game called Story of Seasons. Obsessed. I'm obsessed. It's like a cross between Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley because you can marry people and have babies, but you also like actually have a farm, or I guess a ranch, because it has animals on it and you can breed those animals and you like milk them and you collect fur from them and you build little relationships with them. And then you also can plant so many crops and they're seasonal. Everything is seasonal. The only thing I don't like about the game so far is it's not a real-time game like Animal Crossing is, where you have a whole day, like a whole real 24 hours to do something. The days go by so fast. And sometimes I get a little anxiety because I'll need to get something done, but your character automatically passes out at 2 a.m. And I'm pretty sure I could play this game for 2 weeks and have gone through all of the seasons, like spring, winter, summer, fall. I'm already in autumn, and I was just in spring when I first started the game. I guess it depends on how much you're playing too. It could be how much you're playing. Hi. So it's day 2 of Summerween and it's like 4 o'clock right now. I have been doing stuff all day, but I've also been listening to audiobooks. So I did end up finishing The Hollow Places this morning, and I am 30% into No Exit. For The Hollow Places, I think I'm gonna give it a 3 stars because I really was invested in the first half of the book, and then the second half just kind of lost me, and I slowly just kept losing interest in the book. It is a really fun book, and I think that if you like some humor in your horror, like cheesy humor in your horror, you'll probably love The Hollow Places. The thing is though, is there are certain things that are happening that still feel really unexplained to me. And I kind of felt like in the first half, you get all of this build up to a situation, like a really creepy situation, and then it's kind of over. And while it's not completely over for the rest of the book, it just didn't feel as intense as it did in the beginning when everything starts popping off. So yeah, I think it's a 3-star read for me just because I stopped caring halfway through the book. Then after that, in true Stephanie fashion, I went off script. I found a different book that I meant to put on my TBR that I just completely forgot to put on my TBR, and that's No Exit. So this is the one that I'm 30% of the way through. I've been listening to this one as well because I don't have a physical copy and my library doesn't have it right now. So I've been just listening to it on audiobook, and this is already so good. And the scenario that they're in, I don't know what I would do. To give you the most simple synopsis of this, our main character Darby is trying to drive to see her mother who has cancer, and in the middle of her driving to go see her mom, she gets stuck in a blizzard and ends up having to pull off and find a place to stay. And I think that it's like a truck stop, not a truck stop, but like some sort of spot. It's not a hotel that they're at because I don't think there are any rooms. And so she's stuck in this place with 4 different strangers, and she goes outside to try to find cell service and thinks that she sees a little girl in one of the vans. So one of them is potentially a child abductor. So far, it's good. It's one of the better thrillers that I've ever read. I'm not a huge thriller reader, but I want to be. I want to get more into thrillers, and so far I'm really liking this one. It's put me on edge. I don't know where it's gonna go. And as you already know, I've been reading Her Body and Other Parties. I've been reading a story a day. I haven't gotten to the story yet, but I'll probably read it before bed. But last night at the grocery store, I did buy some stuff to make some sugar cookies. And because Halloween is my favorite time of the year, you know, I have cookie cutouts that are ghosts, tombstones, skulls, and bats. The thing is though, I don't think I got food dye, and I don't think I have any food dye, and I wanted to use black because I make my own frosting as well, and I wanted to use black to decorate it, so they may just be the shape with white frosting. What's up? Welcome to my kitchen. This is Steph Boyardee. A casualty. I'm the casualty. Good morning. Happy day 3 of Summerween. I just ate one of the cookies that I made. It was delicious. So last night I finished No Exit and I gave it 3 stars. I really liked the beginning portion of it, which I think you guys saw. I'm pretty sure I liked, I don't know, 75% of this book. And then the last 25% just lost me. There were too many twists, if you could believe. It just got a little convoluted. Also, there were a few things that bothered me. In one of the characters' POVs, there were a couple slurs used. And I don't know if the author was trying to use this as a way to be like, yeah, let's solidify that this person is horrible, when you already knew they were horrible. So it bothered me. It was really jarring at times. But yeah, the ending just got really convoluted. It went from being a story that in some cases I could see as being really realistic to a story that just went off the rails. But I gave it 3 stars because I did like so much of the book. But also I really liked our main character Darby a lot. I really enjoyed Darby as a main character and how she handled the situation and her thought process. Also, I'm not a big thriller reader. I've been slowly trying to make my way into the thriller world because I don't really know what I like in thrillers. I do know that I like psychological thrillers, and I liked the majority of this one as well. I don't know if this is considered a psychological thriller. Also, I looked up the author and he is, I think, typically a screenwriter, so I can see how the story got a little out of control. As for the rest of the day, I think I'm gonna go to a bookstore. I also want to start the audiobook for A.S. King's Dig and then physically reading Lakewood. This is such bad lighting, but I wanted to close out the first part of the vlog because I'm gonna do this in 2 parts since I think there's gonna be too much footage to do 1 vlog. I've been reading Lakewood and I am halfway through by this point, so I think I'm gonna read a little bit more before I fall asleep, and then I'm gonna try to finish this in the morning. This is one of those books that is a slow build to what I feel like is gonna be something really creepy. So Lena's in this really hard situation and she gets an opportunity to kind of become a test subject for this place called Great Lakes, and she doesn't know anything about it. There's like NDAs, and every experiment she's not even told what they're doing. She's not given any information about what could possibly happen to her. She's given like the bare minimum overview of what might happen to her, and then she is like seeing other test subjects, things that are happening to them, as well as the fact that like she kind of has to lie to her family and her friends about what she's doing, and there's like a fake job that she has to pretend to have. It's wild, and it's really creepy to think that she has no idea what they're doing to her body, but she feels like she has to do it because of the position that she's in. I think she's only like 20 something, like very early 20s. She's just in college. She hasn't even finished college. She's actually dropping out of college to do this experiment to get this money and health insurance for her mom. I'm really excited to see where this goes because I can see this being really creepy, And I know this is a commentary on experimentation on Black bodies throughout history in the United States. I can't really explain my feelings about it, except that I know this is going to be a slow build to something really creepy, and I like the writing style, and I like our main character. It's not that there's this central clean plot. It's sort of just all over the place in terms of plot. It's sort of her talking about what's happening to her and everyone around her. It's almost like diary entries, but it's not explicitly in like a diary entry format, but you'll randomly have a paragraph that says like day 15, day 20, and she's cataloging like things that are happening, and especially things that are really creepy and weird and start to feel off to her. And I just I like it. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like vibes. There's just vibes happening. But yeah, hopefully I will finish this tomorrow morning. That's been kind of the trend recently. I'll start a book one day and then finish it that morning and start another book. So hopefully that'll continue to be the trend. I think so far I've read 2.5 books, and then I'm 4 short stories into Her Body and Other Parties. So I think I'm doing all right now. And honestly, if I just read 4 books, I would be completely happy, because normally I am not somebody who can read a ton of books during a readathon. For whatever reason, I get really in my head about what I'm gonna read. And this time around, I've kind of been sticking to all of the books that I really wanted to get to for this readathon in general. Even though No Exit seemed like it came out of nowhere, it actually was originally on my TBR, and then I just never mentioned it. So there's that. But yeah, I'm feeling good about it. I'm having a lot of fun, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.